name is Evangeline Cardy. I'm a senior at Grant Community High School. I'm 17 years old and I identify as a bisexual female. For those who are uncertain on what exactly bisexuality is, the general definition is someone who likes both men and women, but it is very specific and different for each individual. As someone who falls under the umbrella term gay or queer, there are certain differences and adversities that I have faced and will continue to face throughout my life. Similarly, many individuals of the LGBTQ community face these hardships in some ways worse than others depending on how they identify and the society that surrounds them. In this documentary, I'll be delving into the lives of queer people of many different orientations and identities, explaining their experiences and shedding some light on the spectrum of so-called acceptance.
My name is Hunter Harvey, and I am 15, and I am gay.
Were people generally accepting, and did your life change?
Yeah, most people were accepting, and yes, my life did change.
How so?
I guess people, were used to me not being like that, and they were, kind of okay, but they were accepting.
Were you scared of anything while you were starting to come out?
Yeah, people's, views of me that would, change just because I said one word about myself.
If you could see one specific change in the next 10 years for the LGBTQ community, what would you like to see?
Everybody being happy for everybody else. Even if you're not even, in the community, just as, a straight person.
I'm Austin Schroeder. I'm 16 years old. I'm a homosexual, and I am a male. I kind of always knew. There was one time on the bus where I was sitting with my friend and people kept asking if we were dating, even though obviously we weren't. And then I got called the F word a couple times, so.
Coming out as a gay male, how do you feel society views that as opposed to people of other orientations, a lesbian female or a bisexual female or male?
I mean, I feel like society views us as kind of a little farther down because, if a person came out as lesbian or bisexual, a lot of times most people would accept them, especially guys, because they like lesbians. But if a gay guy comes out, all the guys think that they're hitting on them, so, yeah.
42% of LGBTQ youth say the community that they live in is not accepting of their lifestyle. 68% of LGBTQ youth say they hear negative messages about their community from elected leaders and politicians.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm 16. Orientation, queer. I like females, but it's kind of confusing to me personally because I also identify as transgender, female to male transgender, but I'm not transitioning, so it's I don't exactly remember the age, but I first came out probably when I was maybe 6th or somewhere between 6th and 8th grade. When it came to somewhere more personal, my family, that was a big no, and my life changed by a lot, both in positive and negative ways. Like I said, my family wasn't really too accepting, so I ended up dealing with depression, anxiety. With gender identity, I remember all the way back to preschool or kindergarten, I never really wanted to wear dresses. It's just not my thing, I guess. And I remember asking my mom, hey, what's a tomboy? Because I was called a tomboy in school, and then she was like, you don't need to know. So I'm like, oh, okay. On the positive note, I've became closer with a lot of people, and I've grown to be more of an outgoing, open person because I dealt with so many things, and I do like sharing my story, I guess we can say, and with that and being able to connect with people, I am able to help them. Oh yeah, I was scared of pretty much everything from of course the family thing, the family issues, and then I'm not a religious person, but I do say I am a Christian and have this relationship with Christianity and like specifically God and Jesus. And like as a younger person, one of my biggest fears is just losing that relationship and I guess being judged. Since like right now I'm not transitioning, so I like it doesn't feel right to me to identify as lesbian, but at the moment right now it doesn't also feel right to identify as queer, or I'm obviously not bi because like that's not how I go. It's even frustrating for myself and confusing for myself as to like how to categorize myself, but I just decided to, you know what, I'm great and I like myself the way I am, whether I have a label for it or not.
LGBTQ youth are twice as likely to be assaulted than their peers.
I'm Emmy. I'm 17 years old and I'm queer non-binary. I tried telling my mother, which at the time did not go well because I was 12 years old. And, you know, she was doing a thing where it's like, it's just a phase, like everybody feels this way. And I'm like, I don't think so. And then I didn't talk about it with family until I was like 14 when I got outed by my doctor. Like in GSA is the only place where I'm really like, oh yeah, you know, I like they, them pronouns, but like, the rest of the time I'm just kind of like, let people figure it out. People call me like girl and I'm like, whatever, I'm good with that. I'm not too picky about it. And I don't know if I'm ever going to tell my parents just because that's such a rough thing to get your head around, you know, and not being either. People were really accepting. All of my friends were wonderful. I think the only person that I've come out to that it was like an issue was my mom, and that was at the beginning. Like now she's great. But all my friends have been wonderful. I come out casually like all the time to like classmates and stuff. I was in like third or fourth grade, I think, and I like was friends with this girl, and then I was like friends with this girl. Like there's definitely, because I think Grant is generally a safe space, like it's a great place, but like negative, like getting like slurs thrown in the hallway like every day is definitely something. Well, yeah, I was definitely scared because I think, well, with my sexual orientation, that is more like a common thing. Like I was raised very liberal, like was talked about. My dad has tons of gay friends, like and so that was more of a thing where I was just kind of like, am I? And it wasn't like, no, I can't be that. There was a little bit of internalized homophobia like for a couple years, but like it wasn't a huge thing. But I know with my gender identity, like I still deal with where I'm like, why can't I just be like comfortable, you know, like just being female and like just be good with it. But I was definitely scared to come out with my gender identity like all the time. Like even with this, it's like it's not something I talk about, so I'm sure people are gonna be like, what? But it's definitely terrifying because it's less mainstream, you know, like even just trans, like male to female, you know, is less mainstream than like a sexual orientation. And I think definitely like the they them pronoun thing, and like there's so much of like pick one in society that it's definitely scary to come out to people. So
I'm Rachel, and I'm 17, and I identify as pansexual or bisexual because some people don't know what pansexual is, or some people think that are the same thing. So I just say bi to eliminate any confusion. But yeah, people were accepting. By like people, I mean like my friends, because I haven't told my family yet. But most of my friends were like LGBT themselves, so they could totally relate. I feel like my life hasn't changed because I haven't formally outed myself to my parents, but deep down inside, like I did have like some struggles with like my identity because I was like trying to accept like, okay, like this is who I am, but I got over it pretty quickly, and I was like fine with understanding that I like who I like. So Like when stuff about like the LGBT like Q plus like groups comes on the news and I'm with my family and they like, it's not like an insensitive comment, it's just like they're from India, they're from a different time like frame, so they don't know what this is about and why this is important, so they'll like make comments or like ask questions, and it's very hard for me to answer them or like try and defend that because I am like passionate about it. I do care and I do like want them to be caring and like considerate of what they say, but it's hard for me to like say stuff without outing myself because I don't want them to be like, oh well, do you like girls, like why does this matter to you? When I say that I like girls, I do get that comment from some guys who are like, oh, that's like hot or whatever, and it's just like, no, it's really not, like we can't be saying that. I just feel like I just get like a shock, like people don't expect it, people don't see it because I have long hair and I dress very feminine, so people are like, oh, you like girls, or like
My name's Yamin Ahmad. I'm 17 years old and I identify as a heterosexual male. Well, you know, I came out as straight when I was in 6th grade. I just knew that, you know, all these girls at school just, you know, it was just hard being straight when you're surrounded by all these girls, you know, as a male. So, you know, I told my brother, like, hey, like, I have a crush on this girl. And he was like, hey, it's okay. And, you know, yeah, so, you know, when I came out as straight, I noticed that people started, you know, not joking around, but started saying, hey, you know, you like this person, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I was accepted, so it wasn't that bad.
Hi.
How do I explain? Rouse! How do I explain that I like girls, that I'm attracted to girls, without sounding creepy?
That's like asking you to describe why you like the taste of something.
One time, it was the 3rd grade, and it was the last day of school. And, you know, we're saying our goodbye because it's gonna be summer break. And, you know, I had to give people hugs, and I knew that there's a special hug between, you know, the females. And I just noticed, whoa, like, this is kind of cool. And when a guy tried hugging me, I was like, I don't know if I like that.
Is there any discriminations that you faced as being a straight male?
Not at all.
All that I ask is that you acknowledge these people and their experiences and take part in the fight for progression and acceptance.